It was another dramatic night in the Scottish Premiership on Wednesday. Celtic leave it late to beat Livy while Motherwell snatch a point against Rangers. But who's got the edge in the title hunt? Meanwhile, do results at the bottom mean Livy are doomed? And are Dundee United and Aberdeen ever going to get a game on? Michael Grant and Lee Miller are alongside me, Charlotte Cohen, to dive into the murky waters of Scottish football. Hello, I'm Charlotte Cohen and this is the Scottish Football Podcast. All the news, views and analysis you need on Thursday the 12th of February. And about last night.
Ball's headed back and goal! Goal Motherwell! It's absolutely incredible! Right at the death, it's the on-loan Celt, Stephen Welsh!
10-man Motherwell snatched what could be a pivotal point against Rangers, and there was more late drama at Celtic Park.
Oxlade-Chamberlain! Oh my goodness! Oxlade-Chamberlain calling right for effort from the edge of the area!
What a debut for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as he grabs a last gasp winner and does an epic win for Kilmarnock shake up things at the bottom of the table.
Well, I'm beside myself, beside a lot of happy Kilmarnock fans as well, because they have gone 4-2 ahead. Tyrese John-Jones has got a hat-trick.
All that and Scotland heading for Nations League draw in today's Scottish Football Podcast.
The Scottish Football Podcast from BBC Sports Scotland.
Alongside me to talk about all of that, Lee Miller, a man who has literally played for half the Premiership and now a draw host. Any bingo call-ups, Lee, after your performance?
I'm still in hiding after that draw. Honestly, God, the amount of people have come up to me after that, never thought it possible.
Well, it's obviously your fault.
Yeah, of course, aye.
You picked it.
It was all scripted.
Did you not feel the hot and cold balls? Did you?
Well, it was either hot or cold or spiky balls or, honestly, so funny.
And that voice was Michael Grant, Times Scottish football correspondent. Good morning, Michael.
Morning, Charlotte.
Well, loads to get stuck into. Let's start with the title race because that took a bit of a shake-up last night. Lee, who do you think has got the psychological edge after last night? Obviously, Hearts having their big derby win. Celtic eventually getting the job done against Livy. Rangers being pegged back late on at Motherwell. Who's coming out of last night on the front foot?
Motherwell. Just to throw it right in there.
Love this.
It was, what a great performance again from Motherwell. We've seen it so many times this season. With 10 men and they get the draw that nobody could have said they didn't deserve, in my opinion. I thought they were excellent. They created loads of chances. You get down to 10 men, you think they're out of it, and they get the point. But no, if you look across the city, across in Glasgow, Celtic, what a dream debut for Oxlade-Chamberlain to come on and score that goal. And nobody gave a chance. One each right to the 91st minute. And I think Celtic will take a lot of positive from that. I don't know how the performance was. Obviously, one each up to the last minute, but they just seem to keep doing it. I watched the Dundee game, the Cup game the other day, and Dundee were excellent. Were absolute class. And Celtic just know how to do it. They just know how to get it done, the job done. And they've been here before. So I think they come out of last night, I don't say feeling good about themselves, but getting that result, getting that 3 points, which Rangers thought they were getting, I think that puts them in a good place. But then you go to Hearts. Hearts, they didn't play particularly well as well. It's one of those ones they're all under so much pressure. They're under so much pressure to perform. The performances aren't there, but Hearts are grinding out results. Rangers over the past, 4 or 5 weeks have ground out results. They just stumbled last night, and I think Hearts came away from the weekend looking, yep, we could do this.
You mentioned Celtic, Lee. I'm a bit too young to remember Martin O'Neill's very first spell, but from what I hear, it was very much of a similar ilk, leaving it late, scoring late goals and winning games in that kind of resilient way, Michael.
Yeah, they did that, although they tended also to kind of obliterate teams a lot in Martin O'Neill's first time. There was they were a stronger team then than they are now. I agree with Lee's assessment of it. I mean, to me, none of the top three played especially well this midweek. You know, I was at the Tynecastle derby on Tuesday night, and Hearts didn't look like they were going to get the winner, and it came really late. I mean, it was a brilliant couple of nights in terms of late goals and late turnarounds, But Hearts not great, but got there. Celtic not great, but got there. And as you've been saying, Celtic have had a bit of a habit of doing that. I saw a great stat last night that, or fact that they've had 3 debutants who've scored late goals on their debuts of this season. Ian Atcho did it at the start of the season. Junior Adamo did it against Dundee at the weekend, and now Oxlade-Chamberlain. So, I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can say, well, you know, why are you struggling so much? With all due respect to Livingston, why are Celtic struggling so much to beat them at Parkhead? They made a lot of chances, but didn't look like they were getting there. And then, so that's the kind of cold way of looking at it. But you also look at the last minute winner, and because it's Oxlade-Chamberlain, you think, does that give you real momentum going into the weekend and the coming games? You know, and so O'Neill will try and build on that. And I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain's goal was so good that you think clearly this guy is going to bring something to them. You know, and on the other hand, Rangers really let a great winning position slip through their hands because they're a goal up and against 10 men, but. As Lee said, Motherwell more than deserved it. Motherwell had 63% possession, and we know they're a possession-based team, but it's still difficult to do that. You know, I mean, Lee will tell you, against the Old Firm, it's an incredible achievement, and they were worth it. They made chances throughout the game.
Lee, is Lennon sad to not be a part of this Motherwell team?
He's loved watching. He's loving watching. I spoke to him last night. Listen, it's one of them where he would have done so well in that team, so well. But listen, it was time for him to go and do his thing over in Italy. He's loving life just now. But no, he's loving it watching it from afar.
Good stuff. Well, what about Motherwell, Michael? Lee half mentioned it at the start. I mean, are they in with a shout at the title or not? I mean, they said, I think, about 4 times in the space of 5 minutes on Sportsound last night, the classic, Motherwell probably aren't in the title race, but they'll have a big say in where it goes. But, I mean, do you think they're in with a shout? I mean, if they can get results over the teams around them, then, you know, you never know.
No. No.
Fair enough.
I think, I can't see that. I mean, I think they're too far off the pace, and but I mean, you really don't like saying anything negative about Motherwell in the season that they've had, and the impression that Askew has made. He's been outstanding in almost every department. I like the cut of his jib. I like listening to him. I think he sounds sharp. He sounds perceptive. You know, he's got a little bit of devilment about him. He's been such an impressive find for them, and to do that, to impose his style of play from day one. I mean, I think even in the League Cup games, they were, the League Cup group games right at the beginning, he showed the way he wanted to play. You know, little bits of rustiness at first, or you know, as players got to grips with it. But by God, it's good to watch as well, and as well as the passing, which I think everybody likes the passing style and the possession style. But I'm really impressed with their work rate. You know, I think the intensity they bring to it is such a big factor in why they've been successful this season. And what are they now? 5 points ahead of Hibs. You know, they're almost consolidating. There's still a lot of games to go, about a dozen games, but they've been consistently impressive almost from day one.
What about Rangers then, Lee? Do you think that the result was just a culmination of Motherwell's performance, or do you think that there was something on Rangers' end that maybe helped Motherwell into the game?
It's hard because against 10, sometimes it can be hard against 10, especially when it's a possession-based team. But for me, Rangers have to see that game out. They have to just try and keep the ball a bit better. Don't rush things. and they'll definitely feel it's 2 points dropped from being in that winning position. But I think you've got to credit Motherwell. I don't think you can say too much about Rangers. Motherwell are just a really good outfit, because I've not seen every one of Rangers games in recent weeks, but listening to fans, they've not been particularly happy with the football that's been played. Yes, they've been getting results. I know they go and smash Queen's Park and whatnot, but I think they were booed off the pitch at half-time against Kilmarnock at home. I know they win that game, but they've not been blown away with the scintillating football at Ibrox just now. Although Danny Rose, I think he's done a really good job. He's turned it around from where it was at the start of the season. But it's just such a good title race. It's such a good league just now, top and bottom. There's loads of subplots within it.
Yeah, speaking of the bottom, obviously Livy were on the wrong end of that defeat at Celtic. But I suppose, Michael, there's positives for them to take away from that, isn't there? I mean, it took a last-minute practically goal for Celtic to beat them.
Yeah, I did actually feel sorry for Livingston last night, because, I mean, Motherwell are getting plenty of credit, and so they should for holding Rangers. But I mean, Livingston, given the resources, the gap in resources between Livingston and Celtic, to come so close to getting a result, which would have meant so much to them, So you feel for them, because you think, well, Livingston's contribution to that will get lost. It'll all be about Oxlade-Chamberlain, and all about what it means to Celtic to win the league, and to be in the title race and so on. And for a new manager, Marvin Bartley, coming in and to contribute so well. I mean, listen, they obviously they had to endure a lot of pressure, and Celtic had a lot of chances. But they looked to me. I only saw the highlights, but they looked kind of organised, and the press was good, and all that sort of stuff that you have to have at Parkhead. And it was hard on them that they come away with nothing from it. But watching Marvin Bartley's post-match stuff, he did look like, we can take stuff from this. We can take belief and confidence that we came here and competed so well. But it's all right saying that. I mean, they're going to have to claw back. It's Kilmarnock, isn't it, in 11th? Because there's a gap there now. I suspect they're away, I must admit, but last night was definitely sort of signs of flickers of hope, wasn't it?
Definitely. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the league, Kilmarnock with an absolutely massive win over St Mirren. Lee, just how big is that for Neil McCann and his side? It's
a huge win for them. Watching the Motherwell Rangers game last night, and you just kept seeing the wee graphic coming on. It was another goal in the Kilmarnock game, and it sounded like a really exciting game. But Neil McCann's done great. Neil McCann and Billy Dodds have done great getting in there. They've really, I think, inspired them. They've got that buzz, that kind of winning feeling. And he's enthusiastic about his work. Neil McCann, having worked alongside him, doing punditry gigs with Doddsy as well. I think they'll be okay. But then, in saying that, Dundee, they missed an opportunity there against Falkirk, because Dundee against Celtic were excellent, but these are the games they need to pick up the points. And I think Kilmarnock have shown that against St Mirren, and they drag St Mirren into that fight, if anything.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question. I mean, what does that do? What does that do for St Mirren? Because it looked maybe for a little bit like they were escaping this kind of whatever mesh at the bottom of the table, but as you say, they're kind of dragged right back in there.
Yeah, as a cluster of teams, and as in Dundee United, their fixtures are piling up as well, so they can't count themselves out of it. I think all these teams, yes, they want to be looking above, but the more that Kilmarnock, Dundee start getting results, then they're going to have to look below them and just keep grafting away and trying to grind out those results. But it is a cluster of teams down the bottom, and it makes it for an interesting. I tell you what really interesting this year will be the split. The split, both halves will be dog eat dog, because obviously top of the league, you're always kind of thinking, Celtic in recent years have just ran away with it, and there's nothing going to affect that. Every single team up there is going to affect it, and then you flip it around and look at the bottom half as well. There's not many points between those teams. Yes, Livingston are cut adrift just now, but if they can pick up a few results, you don't know.
Yeah, I know the split's going to be, it's just going to be insane, isn't it? So, but what about, you mentioned Leeds, you mentioned Dundee, Michael. They kind of picked up a little bit. They had that really good performance against Celtic in the Cup, probably gutted not to get anything from that. But what does that defeat at Falkirk do for them?
Well, looking at the league table, they're 10th. They're 3 points above Kilmarnock. I think it's been a pretty tough, pretty harsh couple of results for Dundee, because they contributed a lot last night. They contributed a hell of a lot against Celtic at Parkhead. I was at that game. I was really impressed with Dundee, and that kind of sickening late goal for them to concede Adamu's equaliser, and then immediately they lose a goal in extra time as well. The problem is they're not scoring enough goals, isn't it? They were so... they're quite a solid enough team, and they can play some nice football as well, Dundee, but they just lack that cutting edge, and Stephen Presley's admitted it. I think the Dundee supporters have warmed to Big Elvis quite a lot. They were sceptical at first. He's forever damned with that comment he said when he was appointed, wasn't he, about if you're looking for managers that win league titles, and so I'm not your man, which was just honest. It was, wasn't it? It's and with all due respect, Dundee they're not looking for a manager who wins a league, because they want a manager who can build a team and build a club and maybe give them cup runs. I think I was going to say I think Dundee will be all right. I'm not, they could get sucked into the playoff, because Kilmarnock look like, as Lee was saying there, Kilmarnock look like they're putting something together under Neil McCann, and they've got a bit of a bounce under him. Dundee, St Mirren, Kilmarnock. As I say, I think Livy are probably too far adrift now, but those three. Yeah. And again, as you just said, the post splits thing is going to be. They're all going to be cutting each other's throats. Certainly, it's going to be fascinating.
I was trying to think of a good Elvis pun, but nothing came to me. But the actually the turnaround in fan opinion of Stephen Presley is one that's been really interesting, because they are now, from what I can see, all the supporters are properly behind him. Lee, what a turnaround for him.
It's fine margins as well. He's done great. He's played, obviously the Celtic game stands out. I watched it. They were excellent. But even last night, they miss a penalty in the 90 plus minutes, and Danda misses penalty, misses a target. I actually seen it on X this morning and thought, if they score that, they leapfrog St Mirren. So then St Mirren are cut adrift slightly. So it's fine margins, but I think I was sceptical about Elvis. I'd played with Elvis at Hearts, and I thought coming up here and just some of the comments he made, and the fans weren't accepting it, and he wasn't even in the door yet. He's really turned it around. He's playing some really good stuff. He's built a squad there, but like Michael says, they just need to start scoring goals. They're good defensively, midfield, leading up to the strike. Simon Murray just needs to go for it again, and I like Simon Murray. I really like him. He can be a constant pest. Once he hits form, they could be in a good shout.
Yeah, well, time will tell for Dundee. And Michael, we kind of briefly touched on the Dundee United Aberdeen game being called off. Is this becoming a bit of a worry for them, just with the amount of games we've got coming up? They're just going to be stuck with this massive fixture pile up.
Yeah, well, both clubs have got problems. People tend to kind of criticise the clubs or criticise the SPFL or the SFA for these postponements. The weather has been just intolerable, really, for the last since the turn of the year. There's so much water coming down that pitches are just not going to be able to sustain that, and I think the Tannadice one, everybody suspected that was going to go off a couple of days before it actually did. I mean, Aberdeen, that's 3 postponements in a row now. You know, home games against Celtic and Motherwell in the Cup, and now the away game at Tannadice. Now, initially, I think that might. I mean, the Celtic game was probably came at a good time for it to go off from Aberdeen's point of view. They've had injuries. They've had new boys coming in that hadn't really got to grips with the club yet. Just in the door, frankly.
Michael, that's the Celtic one was.
What's that, Lee? Sorry?
Because he had injuries and that. Are you saying that was a conspiracy about that game?
Not. Listen, I mean, Aberdeen wield a lot of power, but they can't control the weather, you know?
That's what they want us to think.
That's what is the thing.
Yeah.
But you know, so that was like, okay, no, listen, I mean, the referee has to call the game off, Lee, as you know. But so that, you know, yeah, but it did come at a good time to go off. But I think now when you've had 3 in a row, you know, you just start to get restless to play, don't you? And their next game is at Fir Park at the weekend, which is going to be a tough one for them. Because, you know, they're probably not going to see that much of the ball the way Motherwell play, and it's going to be a test. At the moment, it looks like Peter Laven will still be in charge. But yeah, to go back to your original point, Charlotte, it's unavoidable when the weather is so extreme as it has been. You know?
Bet you Lennon's not missing the rain, Lee.
No, well, you still get rain over there. The pitches are much better. Thing is, like, Motherwell had the best pitch in the league last season, and their pitch was pretty poor last night because of the rainfall and whatnot. So it's all over the country that it's happening, apart from these artificial surfaces. We'll not get into that today, surely.
We'll be here all day. Well, finally, let's talk Nations League. We can all be forgiven for forgetting that it's even a thing with all the World Cup build-up. But, Michael, I just wonder, obviously, Scotland having been in League A last time round, there was a little bit of chat when we got promoted into it in the first place that it was maybe the worst thing that could have happened for us just because of the level of teams we were going to play and etc. Obviously, the campaign didn't pan out great, but I mean, do you think it was a bad thing? Do you think it was a good thing being able to get a bit of experience against, you know, likes of Poland, Greece, Croatia? I don't know.
Yeah, Portugal as well, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, Steve Clarke was always quite insistent that it was good to be promoted. It was good to be in that company. It was good to kind of expose the players and the team to that level of opposition consistently. But if we're being honest, we're probably not naturally a League A nation. You know, we're probably League B. You know, top end, maybe almost like kind of yo-yo club. We're not country. We're not used to talking about promotion and relegation in international football, but that's what you have with the Nations League. I mean, the Nations League has been a great tournament for Scotland. It's got us a couple of playoff places. You know, it might get us another playoff place for Euro 2028 if this campaign goes well. We'll know when the draw is made tonight or this afternoon. And also, these are going to be the first games after the World Cup. You know, so who knows what the mood is going to be like, you know? I mean, obviously there'll be the trophy presentation around Hampden as the World Cup off, you know. But,
I would love for that to be right, Michael.
I love the kind of straight faces there, you know. I didn't anybody thought I'm going insane. But you know, the World Cup. What happens at the World Cup will definitely affect the mood of these going into these games, because either there'll be kind of warmth for Steve Clarke if he's still the manager then, or else there'll be negativity because the World Cup campaign didn't go well, you know. So we'll find out who we're going to get later, and yeah, it's interesting. I'm always interested in draws, and just to see you can begin to plan out the year beyond the World Cup.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Steve Clarke, Michael. That was the other question that I had. Lee, was, I mean, one, do you think it'll still be Steve Clarke? And I suppose if so, is his position, do you think, contingent on how we do at the World Cup?
I don't know, even only Steve Clarke will know that. There was talk about this was his last campaign, or there was talk about the last one was his last campaign, and then I think a lot of people were surprised he took on Scotland into the World Cup, and he's done great to get us there. Hopefully we do well over there. But it'll be interesting to see just how the World Cup goes, and then leading into the Nations League. It's such a difficult one because you want to play against the better teams, you want to test yourself, but Scotland fans ultimately want to win every single game. But sometimes it's about testing yourselves and trying different things against the top nations. Sometimes you can't do that against the smaller, or so-called smaller nations. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what he does, if it is him that is in charge come the Nations League.
And the draw is obviously later on today. Michael, is there any nation that you'd be keen to avoid? Any nation that you'd be keen to give Scotland a game against?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the pot 2 teams, which are obviously going to be the strongest ones that we can come up with. Switzerland, Austria, Ukraine, or Bosnia-Herzegovina. So Switzerland tend to be a good side. Probably want to avoid them. Pot 3 is Slovenia, Georgia, the Republic of Ireland, and Romania. I mean, a Republic of Ireland game would be fascinating, wouldn't it? Wrong with them. And then, pot 4 is Sweden in it. It's strange to see Sweden in pot 4 of League B. They traditionally associate them with being a really strong European team. North Macedonia, Northern Ireland, and Kosovo. So we could be in a group with both the Irish teams. So that would drum up a bit of interest. But listen, I mean, the World Cup's the only show in town really this season, but this year, sorry. But when it comes around, the Nations League will be interesting. As I say, it's not meaningless because it can secure you a playoff, and we've qualified for Euros on the back of playoffs that we got through a Nations League, so you can't diminish it.
You mentioned Switzerland there, Michael. I was at the Switzerland game at the Euros, and there were the Switzerland fans had printouts of the national anthem because none of them knew the words. So there you go. That's I was going to say some of our players might be that might be beneficial. So we're going to have songbooks
on the back of that.
Maybe get one for Harvey Barnes.
That's the dream. It's the dream. Get his own personalised Flower of Scotland lyric sheet. Well, that is all we've got time for. Many thanks to Lee and Michael. And thank you very much for listening. Remember, we are here with new episodes of the Scottish Football Podcast bright and early every day, so make sure you don't miss out. Subscribe on BBC Sounds and have push notifications turned on in your phone. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will catch you again tomorrow.
For everything you need to know about your team this season, download the BBC Sport app. All the latest news, goal updates, stats and scores, and insight and analysis. Just select your club to get the biggest stories and best content at your fingertips. What a result. Download the BBC Sport app for everything you need to know about your team this season.